Hello, hi, good morning, or good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is for you. Hi. Hello. I did not prepare for this, honestly. I just sat down, got everything ready, and pressed record. So, wow, I'm not good at this. Hi. It's nice to be back. This video, I wanted to do a few things. First, I kind of wanted to update you guys on current situation and what's been going on since I've been gone. Everything like that. I also wanted to establish a community name, for reasons I'll get into a little bit later in the video. And after that, I wanted to do a Q&A. So thank you everybody for participating in the names. Thank you all for your questions. I really appreciate it. I apologize if I'm a little slow. It's very early. My schedule is starting to look very, very busy. And so I had to do this very, very early in the morning. I am running on about 4 hours of sleep, which is arguably worse than just staying up all night. So I'm like, my brain is still buffering. I hope I don't fucking blue screen here. But yeah, hi. This is a mess. Hi. So, update. What's going on? Why was I gone for so long? What's happening? For you that might not have been following me with the community posts, I moved. It was a pretty big move. Went quite the distance, and trying to get established in this new place. Been looking for work. Finally got some that I'll be starting within the week, and that's pretty cool. A lot of the things I've kind of gone over in the community posts, I'll go over them briefly, but if you want some extra info, feel free to snoop around and see. One of my ant colonies died, unfortunately. They did not make the move, which I was kind of expecting. The shock of temperature differences. I'm going from a very moderate to cool place to a very, very, very fucking hot place, which, if you can hear my ceiling fan, I apologize. In most cases I would turn it off, but I know this is going to be a pretty long video, and yeah, I don't want to slow cook in here because it is very warm in this house. Side note, I am trying to make this a little bit more ASMR like. That way you can, fall asleep to it if you want. If you just want to put on late at night and just want to hear me ramble about shit, that's cool too. Yeah, so one of the ant colonies died, unfortunately. My original colony is still kicking, though their numbers depleted by like 9/10. So there's not a lot of them, but they're recovering, thankfully. Besides that, I'm getting a little bit back into my aquariums and terrariums and stuff. I've got beside me, which I also hope you don't have to hear the filter. I got a shrimp tank. I got a bunch of little shrimp guys, fire red cherry shrimp. And it's super cool. They had babies, so there's a bunch of little tiny ones. There's a bunch of fucking snails. Only 2 of them I was able to name because one of them is a big ass mystery snail, as they're called. So we've named him Tank. And then the other is a tiger snail, which we've named Gary. And then probably about a billion other fucking bladder snails that I'm trying to get rid of. So that's fun. Been getting into that. Yeah, I've been getting a little bit back into music. Might release some things here and there over on the Patreon. But yeah, that's kind of the update, to be honest. It's been a time. It's definitely been a little bit challenging for sure. As you guys have known, I've been in this place for a little while now, and I guess I probably could have come back earlier, but you know, in all reality, it's just been a little challenging, you know. I've been really trying to get back into the swing of things, and honestly, I still don't really feel up to it yet, but I have been gone long enough, and, you know, that yes, Gabby, hi. I've been gone long enough, and, you know, sometimes you just gotta get into it. So, that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, before I get into the community names, the reason why, I got a couple plans for the future going on. They might take a little while to come into fruition. I've got to get a lot of stuff figured out. But I'm going to be expanding a little bit on what the channel does. I'll still be doing my best to get my ASMR out, you know, every 2 weeks as per usual, and I'll be still trying to excuse me, sorry. I'll still be trying to get a video out on Patreon every 2 weeks as well. But yeah, I'm gonna be expanding a little bit. For one, I am looking into making a Discord server, which is fun. That'll be very, very fun. I've declined making it in the past because I've got several problems with Discord, quite frankly. Without getting too into it, I do have a personal, like, friends account that I use, but that had, and I did have a ASMR for Ash account made as well, which I added in a few servers, but due to a whole fucking, you know, I used to photo dump on my main account to, like, save them to a particular channel of mine, where I would just save my extra photos, kind of like a OneDrive sort of, and that ended up getting me banned for spam. and I tried to explain that I was spamming myself, that it was literally just me, and the Discord support was zero fucking help as usual. Gabby, please. I know, I know. It upset me too. So I lost a lot of stuff there. So I had to make a new account. Which, one of the other things that just felt like salt in the wound is I had Nitro at the time. And I had just completed my like monthly payment before it got banned, and they wouldn't refund me, which just felt, it was literally like 2 days before, and it was just like, you people are the worst. I'm complaining too much. Yeah, so all in all, the reason why I hadn't used the ASMR for Ash Discord was because my account was going through a weird like lock phase, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to fuck with it. I just kind of kept to myself, but that's sort of been resolved. I still have to do a weird phone verification thing every time because I use the same phone number, because like 99% of the populace, I don't have multiple phone numbers besides like for literal like job purposes, like phone numbers that's given to you, which you should not be using for Discord. Which I again try to go through support to try to figure that out, and it was just kind of talking to a brick wall. Anyways, just so complaints about the support system being atrocious aside, I'm so sorry that this is such a mess. I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm gonna be trying to make a Discord server. It's gonna be safe for work, obviously, you know, according to the channel. I still have a lot of things to take into consideration, things about like the channel's going to be put into it, rules and things like that, and getting like some of my friends to act as quote unquote mods. You know, I don't think it'll be too difficult because it's, you know, I trust you guys. Yeah, you are an amazing community. You know, just making sure everything goes over well. You know, I don't want to be a rules lawyer or anything like that. I'm just a guy that speaks into a mic sometimes. Yeah, so I just wanted something to be a little bit more interactive. You know, I do still love doing my community posts on the channel, but I've seen on a few occasions just everybody kind of interacting with each other, you know, having conversations in the comment sections, and I just love it. So hopefully the Discord server can give everybody a place where, you know, they can feel free to hang out, feel free to have a good time, and, you know, make friends with one another, and, you know, I think that'd be great. So like I said, I'll let you guys know when it's ready to come out. I've still got a lot to polish and to consider and to make sure everything works good. And yeah, besides that, any other potential things that'll be coming up in the future, I am considering taking up streaming in the future. Whether that'll be just live ASMR, or I would also love to do some game stuff. It might not be everybody's interest, but you know, it's something that I enjoy, and I think I'd have quite a bit of fun with it, and especially if you guys would like to join me, I think that'd be really fun. I've already got a couple ideas of kind of mixing the two. of essentially doing ASMR type stuff while gaming, and I think that'd be pretty cool. So quite a bit of things are going into the works for that. But yeah, I want to say that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. All right. This is. I am running on like 4 hours of sleep. I am delirious. I am not a morning person. I'm very much a night owl, and my brain is malfunctioning. Yeah, so getting into the community fan name, which, both has the purpose of the streaming stuff and the Discord server. I went ahead and I posted about 5 days ago, asking for suggestions, and after this video I'll go ahead and kind of go over my favorites, and I'll make a community poll and let everybody choose, see what we like. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, thank you all for sticking around, listening, as well as participating. I really enjoy. Let's see. Again, just kind of going down the list. Let's see here. First up, that pops up for me at least, is Lara.0792. Lara or Laura. I apologize if I misinterpreted. Yes, that's the word. I'm sorry. Lara, let's see. Embers, since each one of us, including ASMR for Ash, plays a role in keeping the campfire going with encouragements, engagement, and having fun overall. That's so sweet. Saras responded, and it sounds like members. That's cute. I like that. January Silence says, I like the sound of Ash's embers. Okay, I fuck with it. I see the theme. Thank you. Jennifer Dara 264 says, y'all are so creative. I know. I'm personally really not good with names, so I'm glad I got you guys on my side. And Angel 274 says, I like the sound of ember. How about emberlings? And does the hearth circle sound like a nice place for all emberlings to huddle together? Oh, I love that. That's sweet. Kepi, what are you doing? Cora says, so many. I can't read. Oh, so many I kept reading like evocative. So many evocative suggestions. I can just see us all in a big tribal circle around the campfire, holding our breaths, waiting for the storyteller to show up. Ash's tribe. Ooh, okay. Vicious0301. I love how everyone here is so creative. My first thoughts was something like Little Flames, but I suck at creative shit, and the other names with Ember are way better in my opinion. I think it's cute though. Dipikaz has a few suggestions. First one, Ember buns. Ember is everywhere in the post, so it just made it more adorable. I just added buns. Flame Paws reminds the warmth of campfire and excitement we feel when you post, which is somewhat related to Flicker of the Fire. And of course, one thing we love is Gabby, so having her is kind of important. So Flame Paws, as she's attacking my foot. Cinder Puffs slash Cinder Purrs. Aw. Though cinder is the soft ash or glowing remnant of the fire, but somehow it also means that after listening to your audios, you feel warmth. Aw. Comfort which sinks into us, turning our gloomy day into a radiant one. And how makes what? Oh, how sitting next to them. I can't read. I hope y'all have realized that by now. It's a fucking miracle that I get through the scripts the way I do. How sitting next to the blazing fire can burn, but sitting next to the cinders is intimate, soothing, welcoming, just how your audios and you make us feel. Safe to talk about our struggles and how beautiful the community is where people are welcoming and understanding. Lastly, Cinder also shows endurance, survival, and strength for those people who have been going through the flames of life, are looking for this more gentle, stable life like Cinder, or add puff or purr, depending upon you. That's sweet. Toastykins. This one is goofy, to be honest. But when I was thinking about the name, first thing that popped up was me being all toasty in the blanket while listening to your audios. So yeah, it is what it is. Cozy Flame Club. Another goofy thing, but you know, you can actually use this in a different way, like Ember Club, Fireflies Club, or Ashes Ember Club. Credit goes to respective people for the name, or Toastykins Snuggle Club. I love it. I don't know about the name, but I thought there should be a tagline slash slogan slash description for this, so I came up with this. Call it cringe or goofy or whatever, but still. Tagline. A crack, a purr, a voice that can help you to heal, so gather close, 'cause for every tired soul, tender scars, there's a voice that knows what you need. Aww. P.S. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, hydrated, healthy, and happy. Thanks for checking up on us, though. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I will actually hydrate right now. I have got a bottle of Propel. It's not cherry flavor, unfortunately, but berry isn't too bad either. Now that I've properly hydrated, I'll be making tons of terrible mouth noises too, so I apologize. Let's see, kitty sounds. I saw comments say fireflies. I think that's too cute. Embers is also a good one. I have no original ideas, lol. Philocali Advocate. Maybe Ash's EP Embers. I love the EP part. AUIU15035. I got some, but I don't know. I want them all to sound like little fire spirits names. Aw. Ashlings. Aw, that's cute. Ashuettes. Ashikis? Ashikis? Or no. Yeah, Ashikis. Keys. Spirit in Japan. Oh, okay. Or Japanese, I assume. This one is a little special to me. Ashe? Ash plus Aime? French for love slash beloved. Oh, I apologize if I'm totally butchering that pronunciation. I put a lot of thought about this one, even though it might sound simple, but it really stuck with me. You made this YouTube channel dedicated to/for them, and I kept thinking this probably wouldn't even exist if it weren't for how much you love them. Aw. Whether it's platonic or something else, it's so clear that there's real love behind it. And the audios, they sound so full of feeling. They don't just sound good, they feel real. It's like you poured a part of yourself into each one, and even though I've never met them, I ended up loving them too. Just from feeling everything you've expressed through what you made for Ash. They're really lucky to have had you in their life, and honestly, we're lucky too to have you in ours. P.S. I hope you're feeling better. You're very sweet, baby. I really appreciate it. to answer, yes, it was platonic. It wasn't anything more than that. But yeah, there was. It was a very important friendship to me, and I'm really happy that I can honor her in this way. So I really appreciate it. Let's see, Jasmine Space 010. For ash can be blended into forest, ASMR into mist, forest mist, or misties. Ooh, okay. I personally like forest because you can identify it with your logo, the campfire, but also you can think of it as for rest. Oh, that's smart. A place for rest. As for misties, we are from everywhere, all present under your channel. Yet still we missed away in our own lives, and all of us, you and the viewers, become particles a part of the same, yet flowing forever in different spaces. And forest can mean the place that accompanies the journey. P.S. I hope you're doing well as well, and thank you for always checking in with everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Saras hitting me with that twigs. Hell yeah. I fuck with it. Alright. It's good. I like twigs. Alright, sorry, that kind of took me by surprise. Yeah, twigs, hell yeah, I fuck with it. Helquin Noir says, little ashlings, kindlings, tinderkins. Oh, I like that. Embers, wisps, cinders, cinderkins. If you want to stick with the flame/smoke theme, yeah, I love that. Java bean latte. Love that profile picture, by the way. It's just a little cat stretching its arms out. Java bean latte. Little ashes would be so cute, but I feel like that's low hanging fruit. Oh my god, that rhymes. Broken Rose 5421 says, I thought campers like Total Drama Island. See, that fucking show was such a trip growing up. Sunny Sora says, wow, I feel really original for thinking embers. Kittier Deli 9083 says ashlings. That's a good one. Denny, I'm just going to say Denny instead of underscore D.I.N.I underscore, says, me and names are not buddies, but I'll help you with the phone. Have a great day / night, Pookie. Thanks, Pooks. I am also not good with names. VN Cooper says, maybe something regarding the phoenix since it comes back to life from its own ashes. Okay, I like it. I like it. Jasper Femboy says, ashes little monsters. Cute. Cakes 6537, little embers or maybe fireflies. Aw. Alrighty, I got, there's a lot of really good names. I really like twigs. But there's a lot of really good names, and I'll have to go back over them before I make the community post. Wow, we're almost half an hour in. Alright. Thank you guys for all the suggestions. Yeah, that's really awesome. I'll go ahead and make the community post afterwards to choose on the official name, and I'll probably give it a couple days to see what is the highest voted name. Thank you all for participating. I really appreciate it. Now onto the all of the Q&A questions. The first post that I made, I'll double check. I don't think there were. I don't think there were any questions on the first post. There was one, I think. Yeah, just another Tiff asked, how many times have I listened through the new Sleep Token album? So many times. So many times. And then, let's see. I believe that was all on this post. If there's any others that I might have missed, I am so sorry. But yeah, on the next post, I just kept it short because the first one was like a paragraph and a half. The next post was just like, hey, feel free to ask your questions. All right. So, starting off, AU_IU_1503. Oh, wait, 15035, yes. Asks a few things here. If you could live in one of your ASMR roleplay worlds for a day, which would it be and why? Ooh, that is a good question, because most of them are just placed in the real world, and then the few fantasy ones like the vampire series, the ghost series, and well, I guess not really the ghost series, really just the vampire series, and maybe like the Enemy Knight series. Both sound like not great places to live, if I'm honest. So I really think just a normal fucking world. Which of your ASMR characters would win in a cooking competition, and who would definitely set the kitchen on fire? That's a good question. Who'd win in a cooking competition? Maybe like the ASMR voice gains sentience, because that gives me like AI vibes, so I feel like they would be really good if they could actually cook in the kitchen. Beside that, probably most of the hard dom kind of characters, because I mean, without getting too into it, a lot of it is just based on myself, and respectfully, I am pretty damn good in the kitchen. As of who would set it on fire, the Incubus absolutely would set it on fire. He would not understand how a stove works, and he would try to use his own little hellfire, and he would burn down the house. I love that question. Which one of your ASMR characters would survive in a horror movie, and which one would die first, and why? Who would survive in a horror movie? Definitely Vampire Lord Ashwin would survive. He would probably be the monster, if I'm being totally honest. And who would die first? Cappy, please, baby. Ooh, that's a good question. I low-key get like vibes that the Enemy Knight is just a straight up like farm boy, and anything remotely paranormal he would like pass out at. That's the vibe that I get. What's a script idea you really want to do but haven't tried yet? You know, I could actually pull some up because I've got a fucking list. I mean, there's a lot of like serious ideas that I've got that I haven't quite done yet. Mostly because I struggle with like time, and I'm also kind of a perfectionist when it comes to the scripts, and I really want to make sure that I do them justice. You know, I don't want to take a serious topic and totally just fucking butcher it. Yeah. So there's that. Some other ideas that I haven't done yet. I'm assuming that's because you'd be like, I'm worried to do them. There's been plenty of like, I don't want to say sus, but some sus ideas that I would love to do. But I'd be afraid to upload to YouTube. Oh, I did have, yeah, there was this one. I did have kind of like a less so of like a wholesome ASMR, and it was going to be a little bit like on the creepier end, like dark content kind of stuff. Where I would probably put a warning at the beginning of the video. I had this idea of a yandere type like serial killer about to essentially like murder his love interest, aka the listener, but figuring out that the listener was suicidal, it killed the mood for the serial killer, and so instead he kidnaps them and tries making them happy, making life worth living, so then he can kill. And it would be a little like fall in love story. I'd be a little worried about doing that, though. That's a little fucking dark compared to everything that I've done. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, it's a little concerning. Yeah. Which RP character do you secretly relate to the most, and why, if you don't mind? That's a good question. I mean, each character, especially in the reoccurring series, definitely has like a bit of myself in it, for sure. Whether it's like, you know, the vampire lord's kind of like reclusive, kind of walled up nature, the drunk bully kind of just being fucking awkward and you know, unable to portray themselves the way they want to. And then you know, soft dom incubus, with some of the kind of abuse, trauma related things, as well as the kind of ignorance to how to life, essentially. There's a lot. I guess the only other ones I would say are just like some of the Dom series ones, just kind of being protective and, you know, caring and, you know, I guess dominant in a sense, just because that does just come from me. That's why a lot of those videos are easiest for me to improvise. So yeah, I'd say most of my characters, honestly. You mentioned that in spending Halloween with Incubus, you carved a pumpkin. Do you have a picture of it? We would love to see your masterpiece. Oh, that's such a good point. I never took a picture of it. Yeah, for y'all that didn't see the video, there's a portion of the video where where our soft dom Incubus carves a pumpkin with the listener, and I bought an actual pumpkin to carve. And so here I am on this really small desk with 2 mics already taking up most of my space. And I am like very delicately trying to cut and carve this pumpkin. I ended up fucking slashing open my thumb really bad, but like I didn't want to like make any noise or like pause the recording because I felt like I couldn't edit it too well in post. So I just kind of kept going and I got a bunch of blood on the pumpkin. But yeah, unfortunately I don't have any pictures of it. It was pretty bad. The place, I never really carved pumpkins as a kid, because, Cappy, please, because if we left pumpkins out, they would essentially be eaten the next morning by wild boars. So we just kind of didn't partake in that. They had also asked, also, can we see Gabby in the future? Absolutely. I'll have to figure out how I can. I guess I could just do it through a community post, either that or through the Discord as well. But yeah, I could show off my baby. What is your favorite scenario character? Mine would be Pom Pom Purin. Who is that? Pom Pom Purin. Oh, that's cute. It's just a little fluffy guy. Oh wait, maybe it's not scenario. It's Sanrio? Sorry, I honestly thought it was just a misspell. Sanrio characters. Oh, it's a company. Okay. My apologies. I honestly haven't seen any of these before, besides I guess Hello Kitty, and Cinnamon Roll. I'm currently just looking up an image of all of them. What is my favorite? You know, this little oh wait, I got to go with Landry. Is that their Landry? The little raccoon-looking homie. I gotta go with him. I love raccoons. That's my spirit animal. Cats or dogs? Personally, at this point in my life, cats. I love both of them. Dogs are a little bit more high maintenance and energetic, whereas cats are a little bit, more low key. You wouldn't be able to tell with how loud Gabby is being and how much she's attacking my feet. But I also just have a soft spot for cats since I've got Gabby too. And then last question, befriend a ghost or banish it? This is it's gonna sound mean, but fucking banish that motherfucker all the way. I ain't about that. I don't like it. I might go into it in a stream or something like that, but I respect it if it's not something you believe in. But for those who do believe, like myself, I have had a few paranormal experiences. And yeah, nah, dog. I don't fuck with that. I'm good. Thank you for the questions. Lara.0792 asks, I loved listening to your first Q&A video. Looking forward to this one. Thank you. My question, what topics get you to nerd out or talk about for an extended period of time? I would say definitely music is one of the biggest ones. As well as ants. I've been into ant keeping, or at least like I've only semi recently actually like been doing it, but you know, I grew up watching Ants Canada and a bunch of other YouTubers, and yeah, that's always been an interest of mine. And music I've been doing since way early teen years. Sorry about that. They also ask, any music covers you've done, or your music is mostly, if not all, original? Yeah, most of it is original. I'd say good like 95% of it. I haven't done too many covers, or at least not well. I think the only one that I've like gone through with was I did a cover of Don't Stay by Linkin Park, but I switched it up to be in drop E on my 8-string guitar. So it was a little bit more like fucking Doom sounding, like Doom Eternal sounding. And I also didn't at the time, and still now, I didn't have access to a turntable to do the like the kind of DJ sounding stuff that they did during the intro. So instead, I just cranked the distortion on my guitar, and I learned how to do the DJ line using pick scrapes on my guitar, and it turned out pretty fucking cool. I never ended up singing on it though. I don't have a great singing voice, if you could even call it that. Yeah, most of my stuff is original. Do you have tattoos? If so, what style are they? Monochrome or colored? I do have tattoos, yeah. I'm currently building up a sleeve, and it is currently monochrome. I'm just kind of sticking with all black. What dish have you always wanted to make or wanted to learn but haven't gotten around to it? I really love to make my own like proper ramen, like making the broth and everything, making the noodles, everything fresh. That'd be really cool. That's just a lot of work. I've made my own pasta before, and that's turned out really good. Like I made like a really good clam linguine, all fresh. But definitely like ramen, I think would be sick as fuck. What is something you think is underrated in life or general? Underrated in life or what are some underrated things in life? Sleeping in the sun, I think. It's comfy. It's nice. Once you get past the fact that it is just blaring into your closed eyelids, it's nice. I don't know anything else on the top of my head that's underrated in life. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Also asking, would you mind if I design an original version of your campfire avatar and/or thumbnail images unique to your channel for you? I'm an artist. You know, I went through and I liked and hearted all the comments, and I tried my best not to read them, just so you can get my first reactions. I kind of wish I read this one. That's really funny that I'm reading that now. Because I am actually having a new channel banner commissioned right now. For reference on my YouTube channel, the main logo, I'll admit, it was a royalty-free image that I edited. And then the banner was literally just me going on Photoshop, making a black background, and then using like a paint splatter tool and using the same purple and just trying to make noise, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm already having something commissioned right now. I wish I saw this sooner. That's all. My apologies. If these are repeated questions, feel free to skip over any that you prefer not to answer. Oh, no problem. Hope you've gotten a chance to sleep, hydrate, and eat well today. If not, please make sure to before the day ends for you. Appreciate you lots. Much love. Aw, thank you. I love you too. Saras asks, have you ever considered being vegan? There was actually a period of time in a little bit of my youth that my mom was wanting to go on a diet, and so she started cooking vegan only dinners. So with that said, have I ever considered being vegan? Never. Respectfully, no. Plant-based sausage has to be within my, at least like my third least favorite food of all time. It tastes like dirt. Yeah, no. I'm all for like animal rights and, you know, for being as humane as possible. But all vegan food that I've had is really gross. I'm sorry. What's your favorite thing to do with friends? You know, besides just kind of casual hangouts, you know, playing games or, you know, tabletop RPG. I play D&D with my friends. Do you have any plants? I mean, I guess you could technically consider my aquarium stuff as plants, maybe. Sort of, yeah. My shrimp tank has a bunch of plants like guppy grass, red root floaters, dwarf hair grass, java moss, Monte Carlo, and some fucking aquaponic plant that I can't remember the name of, but it's got like, it's green leaves that have like pink veins on them. They're really cool looking. But besides that, just straight up plants. I don't have any, but I'd love to. I'd love to get like those kind of hanging vine looking things that go along your walls. What's your preferred clothing style? I have been described as a lumberjack most of my life. You know, kind of undershirt and open button flannel is usually my go-to with some kind of pair of dark jeans. Yeah, mostly comfy fits. When I'm at home, usually it's either like gym shorts and just like an oversized t-shirt. Do you practice any sports and or yoga? Not in particular anymore. I do lift, but I wouldn't really consider that a sport. And I also like do like stretches and stuff, but I wouldn't quite consider that yoga. I'm not flexible enough for yoga. I would crack like a toothpick. How many languages do you speak, and which ones do you want to learn? Unfortunately, I only speak one language. English is my first language and also my worst, as I say. I know very, very, very little Spanish, and I'd really love to learn more. Just because I think it'd be pretty neat to know. And sorry, I'm having a brain hemorrhage. And then Last question. How much have you missed us? Aw, I've missed you guys so much more than I could describe with words. Yeah, I really miss the way that things used to be and being able to upload all the time and talk to you guys in the community post. And, you know, it's been a time recently. So yeah, I'm really wanting to get back into the swing of things, because I really miss you guys. Tasha underscore CCDD asks, just one in mind right now. Why are you so cool? Just wondering. Because I've got you guys. Yeah. Jennifer Durrah 264 says, "Can't Gabby? Can I help you?" She's meowing at the closed door, but I know as soon as I open it, she's just gonna stay in here anyways. Jennifer Durrah says, "Can't wait for the QNA. Do you think about us as much as we think about you? LOL." I imagine so, yeah. You guys are kind of always on my mind. How is Gabby doing? She is, I mean, at the moment, very upset with me. She does not like the door being closed. She wants her freedom, even though she is not going to leave the room. So she's just being mouthy. But besides that, she's been doing good. And what happened with the ants, like I said, one of the colonies unfortunately died. And then the other lost almost all of them, but they're slowly recovering. Froette asks, when's your birthday? How old are you? What's your favorite video you've made? And what music do you listen to? To answer the first two, I think I'm going to give a non-answer. And I'll say my birthday is relatively soon. I like to keep a little bit anonymous and keep the mystery alive. As of what's the favorite video that I've made? Oh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure. I feel like it changes a lot because, you know, especially later on, as I've done more like experimental stuff, as well as like with my writing has gotten a little bit better, I feel like the videos have kind of generally improved. So it's kind of hard to say. I feel like it's constantly changing. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm able to answer that. I apologize. And then asking what music do you listen to? I listen to mostly like rock and metal type stuff. I do indulge in a guilty pleasure of nerdcore on occasion. You know, basically just artists that inspire their stuff off of games and anime and stuff like that. But mostly like rock and metal, I'd say. Thank you for the question. And Angel274 asks, yay, can't wait for the video. God, I can't stop yawning. Oh, my brain. Sorry. I know you told us previously that your name isn't Ash and the videos are for someone named Ash. So my question is, what would you like us to call you? I know it's kind of weird for me anyway to call you Ash when you're not Ash. You know, it wasn't really something that I considered for the longest time because I didn't think that the channel would, you know, do anything. Like, I honestly thought I was going to make like 1 or 2 videos and then that was going to be it. Sorry, I just realized someone commented like right now. Megan Frank, hi. Yeah, it was a little weird at the start being referred to essentially by my dead friend's name. But I've kind of gotten used to it at this point, if I'm honest. So you guys can call me Ash if you want. I don't mind. I prefer to stay anonymous anyways, so I can just consider it my pseudo name, I guess. Next, as a fellow slave to our fur overlords, what's the most annoying thing your cat does that you love it anyway? We know. Oh man, I would say like either her being loud when the door is closed, especially like when I'm trying to record and I'm like, you know, my microphone is very sensitive because I'm being very quiet, and then you just hear meow in the background. Either that or when I go to sleep. In general, my body runs very warm. Like I'm a hot-blooded person. Not hot-blooded, that's a different meaning. I'm a warm-blooded person. I am a furnace. So I already like overheat easily. And so for some fucking reason, even if it's in the summers, Gabby makes it her absolute goal in life to sleep directly on top of me every time I go to bed. And it's so cute. She's so cuddly and lovely. But God, she's also a little space heater. So like, I just get so fucking overheated, and then like I'll flip to another side and she'll just hop onto the same spot. And it kind of kills me, but I love it. Lastly, not a question, but more of a request. Please don't make those April Fool's type videos anymore. I mean, I scoured everywhere to look for the other videos, but the treasure hunt was fun. Hope you're doing well and everything's working out for you. Sorry. I haven't done any since. I've learned my lesson. I made a lot of people mad. And I thought it was funny still, but there was a lot of people that were mad at me. I kind of felt bad. Sorry, I won't. Ache for Blake asks, yippee, another Q&A. God, what is happening? I hope you're doing better. I'm very excited to see you upload again. I can only think of one question at the moment. Do you plan on doing any more Yandere ASMR in the future? I really enjoyed the ones that you made before, especially the dragon one. But if you're uncomfortable with it, then it's okay. No pressure. Maybe you can do soft dom Yandere. Yeah. Oh, and again, I hope life's treating you better. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to do some more Yandere stuff in the future. I might do a continuation of the Dragon series if you guys want to see it. I enjoyed it. For me, I guess it's mostly just a struggle of like creatively trying to figure out like interesting Yandere type audios. But yeah, I'd love to do some more in the future. Noir ZYX asks, do you miss us as much as we miss you? Absolutely. Do you think of us as much? Absolutely, if not more. And you give me strength in my low days, and whenever I go through something hard, I remind myself Ash's voice got me back. Aw, I appreciate you, huh? It's very sweet. My apologies. My voice is leaving my body. Stay hydrated. Drink some Propel. Preferably not berry. Alright. Tipicaz, let's go. Number 1. So in your last Q&A, you said that the career you want to pursue or the field in which you want your career, you don't require a degree or going to CLG. So what actually do you want to make your career in. Um, it's been kind of like wishy-washy for a little while now, especially these last few years. But I know my main passions are in music, and honestly, with this channel, whether it's with ASMR or voice acting would be really cool. I've done a little bit of voice acting in the past. Some of it turned out. Not really anything super special, I'd say. But yeah, I'd say either of those two things. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make it another week. If I give you a box which contains all the things and people you lost, oof, they could be deceased or alive, oh my god, what will be the first thing you will look for in it, and what 3 things / persons you want to pick? Oh my god. Fuck. I don't know how to answer that. In all honesty, I think I would avoid people that I've lost, because I feel like that would just fuck me up more than I am already fucked up, honestly. So I guess I would go for things, like material things. I haven't lost a lot of material things, honestly. I'm very organized. If you're accepting like a broader sense, I'd say my very first base. My very first base was a Rogue LX 200B Series 3, I want to say. Is that just like basic 4-string PJ style bass in black. And for y'all that don't know, Rogue is notorious for being trash. Absolute ass gear. But occasionally you get a diamond in the dust, or however the phrase goes. And I got the diamond. Every tech that I took it to was like, wow, this is phenomenal for, this brand of bass. I traded it in for my first Warwick at a bookstore, which was an absolute steal. I never regret that decision. I love that bass with all of my heart, and it's probably my favorite instrument. But I still do miss my first bass on occasion. Yeah. Besides that, I don't know, maybe like my old DS games or something. Number 3, what is your favorite video game? And if you want to be a character from Dungeons and Dragons, what character you will be? My favorite video game. Oh man, that's tough. I've got several. I mean, things like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate, Skyrim, even like Warframe. It's kind of always changing, but I always kind of have like some top picks there. And honestly, I don't think I would want to be any Dungeons and Dragons character. Again, that's a lot of work and a lot of danger, and I'm happy sitting in front of a mic. So. Describe your new place, the ambience, neighborhood, something you love about this place. The ambience is hot. There's a lot of bugs. Humid. The neighborhood. fine, I guess. Suburban. Can I help you? And something I love about this place. That's a tough one. It's been an adjustment, I'll just say that. Five, if you're comfortable, can you share one memory with your sister which you absolutely treasure? I would say probably the fact that she's kind of the one that first got me into music, like actually playing music. When I was a kid, there was a theater that my family would go to on occasion with my grandparents. And they had a little side band that was a piano slash singer, a bass player, and a drummer. And my sister told me, you know what, you should play an instrument, but you should play, don't do something basic like guitar. You should play something cool like the bass. And I was like, okay. So I did some research, looked into bass playing. I ended up buying my first bass myself, and yeah, just kind of went from there. I later learned to play guitar because I wanted to make songs, but all of my friends were into like hip hop and like rap stuff, so none of them played instruments. So I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. Yeah. Number 6, damn, rant about the Sleep Token new album and what you feel. Gosh, it's so good. Or it's too good. It is really good. I'll be honest, like the first time I listened to it, I wasn't all that into it, but as I've kind of re-listened a few times, it's really grown on me. Yeah, it's definitely pretty new shit, and I would not be surprised if now that they've really made a name for themselves, if more bands start kind of doing something similar to it. Yeah, Vessel, that man is a genius, and I wish I had fucking half the talent that dude has. 7, lastly, how are you and Gabby? I hope you're not stressing yourself out too much and bothering your beautiful fingers and picking and tearing them apart. I'm okay, making it by. And Gabby, but she's got it real good. She's still upset at the world, but what cat isn't? And my fingers are, they're not currently bleeding. For those that might not know, I think I only mentioned it in a comment. I have had an anxiety tic basically since childhood, where I will pick at my fingers, including like the cuticles and like the sides, to the point where I'll pick parts of skin off and I will often bleed. I've done it long enough to the point, and it's all subconscious, like I'll catch myself doing it and not realize. I've done it long enough that I've done like a level of nerve damage to the ends of my fingers where I don't feel it anymore. And so if I'm like anxious and like stressed out, I'll often realize once I'm actually bleeding on myself that it's like, oh shit, that was happening. Which this is what they were referring to. Thank you in advance for answering, and I apologize because there's too many. That's also lots of love. Please stay safe, hydrated, healthy, and happy. Thank you, I appreciate it. Gabby, please. You want to sit on my lap? Come here, baby. Come here. There you go. Just lay down, baby. There you go. You're slipping. There you go. Sorry. VN Kubras, I just have one question, Pooks. If you were to give a piece of your mind some sort of advice for the juvenile generations, something that could give some insight of what paths you went through, the decisions you took or wish you would have taken, those that influenced who you are now as a person, as well as your stance in today's world, what would it be? What would you do? Warn us from? You get what I mean. I was just trying to sound fancy. Thank you for the question. Yeah. There's a lot. When it comes to advice that I've taken very personally, for the longest time I struggled with like people pleasing and things like that. And the one piece of advice that really helped me with that is, especially when it comes to like art or anything like that, or work, is never take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. That'll save you a lot of headache. I personally find that people are very, very quick to give their negative opinions on things, whether they're educated on a subject or not. And when you kind of take it into consideration, okay, would I take advice from this person? No? All right, whatever. Then that kind of saves you a lot of heartache. Besides that, I mean, something that I've kind of always lived by was the fact that if I do live long enough to be like a super old man, I wanted to be the kind of old man that has a story for everything and won't stop shutting the fuck up and yapping. So I just say yes to things a lot, when it's like, oh, hey, you want to try doing this? Be like, fucking sure, okay. Fear is temporary. And, fuck around, find out, get some cool stories, I'd say. Only other thing, I guess, is, things to warn you about. Look out for red flags in people. Absolutely. Whether it's relationships, family, work, anyone. Yeah. Hi, Gabby. You have no red flags, don't you? No, your red flags, you like to fucking bite my toes sometimes. Yeah, I'd say just, focus on you. I kind of share a little bit of a nihilistic point of view that's like both wholesome but also kind of like, ooh. Where, my belief is that there's very few things that matter in life. And you could get caught up in that. You can get depressed over that idea, but it's also very freeing in a way. Where, you don't have to stress yourself over into your fucking grave. When you realize, whatever, it's fine. Stressing doesn't change a situation. Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. Sorry. Yeah. Nissa Alda asks, another Q&A. Yay, hope you've settled in nicely in your new area / environment / your new area / environment. New environment can be quite stressful. Don't push yourself too hard. Thank you. Q1, what's the songs you've been looping? I myself have been listening to Sleep Token, especially Look to Windward and Provider. Also, Night Terror by Rev Noir. Yeah, I've been binging a lot of Sleep Token recently. I'd say my favorites on the album. I mean, Emergence kind of feels like a cop-out answer, because people are prone to enjoying what they're familiar with, and that song came out first, but it is a really good song. Besides that, the other two that I've been binging are Look to Windward and Damocles. Have definitely been the ones. And question 2, if you got turned into an existing Pokemon, what would you be? I've been described as many things, most of which are big and fluffy. Like bears or big dogs. If I could be turned into either one, I would go with either of my 2 favorite Pokemon. My first being Snom, which is just a little guy doing his best. And my other would be Swinub. So realistically, probably Swinub. Thank you for the question. Merriam1 asks, how do you write your scripts and from what you take inspiration from? I just kind of sit down. I kind of struggle with ADD sometimes, mostly with like the attention span kind of thing, sitting down and focusing on something. What I'll usually do that kind of helps, which if anyone else needs help, like whether it's like studying or writing or anything like that, something that I do is I will get a timer that I specifically won't look at, because if I look at it, then I'll just be counting the minutes. I'll set a timer for an hour. I'll just sit there, no music, because if I do listen to music, I'll be analyzing it. No music, just in silence, and I'll just be, writing. Once the timer goes off, I set another timer for 20 minutes, and that's when I'll watch YouTube, chill out, scroll on my phone, do whatever. And then once that timer goes off, again, set the phone down, face down, timer away, set another timer for an hour, and I'll go back to writing. That has absolutely helped me immensely with every writing thing I've ever done. And as of what I take inspiration from, I browse a lot of channels and stuff. I don't take ideas, but I kind of I try to make my own stuff, but just inspired off of like other concepts, as well as trying to take like real world like problems, I if you want to call them that, and seeing how I can put a twist or spin onto writing a story for it. Like I'd say my biggest things like are on some of my continued series. The theme of the Drunk Bully series is, the whole thing about pretending to be someone you're not, or having to fake your extrovertedness with the Vampire Lord series. The main speaker, I should say, just me, I guess, the vampire guy, taking a place of reclusiveness and a walled up nature due to the trauma of losing someone close to you, with Soft Dom Incubus kind of overcoming these struggles that come with physical abuse, things like that, and sexual abuse. It was mentioned a few times in the series, and as the characters grow and develop, they are slowly overcoming those traumas and I hope that's something that everyone else can relate to. As hopefully everybody gets better over time. Thank you for the question. Oh boy, how do I pronounce that? Talaylo? TLAYLO 2154 asks, have you ever been in a CGL relationship before, and do you ever plan on it? What is a CGL relationship meaning? Caregiver / little refers to okay, like age regression stuff. I have not been, no. And do I plan on it? Not particularly. I don't plan on any relationship at the moment. As in, like, I just don't plan for relationships. So I'd say no. If I did find a partner that, you know, I did, you know, think was the one, and they wanted that, I'd be open to pretty much anything. Like I said before, I'm willing to try anything once at least, and if that's what they want, sure. Thank you for the question. Blue ZZZ asks, do you have a favorite song from the Sleep Tokens new album, Even in Arcadia? Yeah, either Emergence, Look to Windward, Damocles, and honestly, even the song Even in Arcadia has been growing on me. It's very cryptic sounding, and I just vibe with it. Leah D9U9Z asks, I'm a uni student, give me some motivation and study tips. Hey, just what I was mentioning earlier, actually. You know, keeping the phone down. Some people, music helps them. Me personally, I can't listen because I'll just be analyzing it the entire time. But setting a timer that you're not watching specifically, don't want a minute count, for an hour, do an hour of work, then set one for 20 minutes where you can just lay back, have a snack or something, watch YouTube, scroll TikTok, whatever you want to do. And then just doing that. I mean, when it comes to like world building stuff and things like that, I've done like that for fucking 9 hours straight, and it helped push me along. Yeah, and as of motivation, fucking do it. I believe in you. You see, Gabby's cheering you on. Speak, Gabby. Woo. Oh, thank you for the question. Cora asks, do you prefer doing one-off stories or continuing series? Depends on how much time I got, honestly. You know, one-off stories, they are a lot easier, especially if I just like do improv stuff, some kind of like Dom audio. But also with continued series, I'm able to go over a lot broader concepts and storytelling, which I also do enjoy, but they do take a lot longer to make, both because of production as well as, you know, creative writing and trying to figure out where I want to take the story, things like that. Thank you for the question. Denny asks, I love Q&A with you, hey! Or you can ramble about how settling the process went and how you adjusted to your new surroundings and neighbors. I'm still adjusting. Number one, if you can move to any country and live there, where would you go? Ooh. I'm not sure where I'd want to go, honestly. I thought, like, wasn't it, I think it's like Finland or something is like one of the like happiest countries, like very homely. I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't put too much thought into moving out of country. Number 2, what's the latest you've ever stayed up and doing what, maybe? Man, so this is gonna I'm gonna disappoint a lot of people, I feel like, with this one. Granted, I was young. I think I don't know. I think I was still in my teens, maybe. But I was playing Warframe, the game. If y'all don't know, great free-to-play game. And it was the very first time that Nightwave had come out, which was like a weekly mission kind of thing, with, renewed rewards. And it wasn't like spoken at the time that it was gonna come back. And there's this whole thing about there's like 30 mission rewards that you can do. And they refresh every day. You get like new dailies and then new weeklies. And it was nearing the end, and I hadn't been able to keep up because of school. But it was the summer at the time, and so I was able to like finally fucking do it. Where I did all the missions, and I was trying to get to the very last reward because it was a really cool like signed Donna, and I really wanted it. This is really gonna out me. I did all the missions, and I didn't have enough, but there was one other way you can get the mission like progress points or whatever they were called at the time, where you could like capture targets that would like randomly spawn in the open worlds, but you just had to be there for like a certain amount of time. I stayed up for so long capturing those dudes, only to not be able to make it in time to get the reward. I stayed up doing this. It was for 2 nights straight. So, full day, overnight, full day, overnight, full day. And then it ended, and I didn't get the reward. And then I went to bed after that, and I basically went comatose. So I guess 2 nights in a row, I think, was the longest. Besides that, just general insomnia. I've gone plenty of nights where I only get a couple hours. And even then, I've tracked it through like different like heart rate monitors and like watches and stuff like that. My body, for whatever reason, I naturally don't get a lot of REM sleep, a lot of deep sleep. In like an 8-hour night, where most people get it like an hour or two, like 2 hours ish of deep sleep, I would average around like 10 to 15 minutes a night at best. So I'm just kind of used to being tired. Yeah, so that's embarrassing. But yeah, number 3, if you could only... Gabby! Can I help you? Please. You're being so loud. I know. If you could only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Man, one type of food for the rest of your life. That is tough. I feel like pizza would be the kind of universal easy answer, because like 9 times out of 10 I skip breakfast. A lot of the times I also skip lunch. But on the days that I would have lunch, I could just do like a cold pizza and then just warm up pizza for dinner, I guess. Number 4, how that's also probably not fucking healthy at all, but I don't think eating one type of food for the rest of your life is also healthy. So, number 4, how many musical instruments do you have, and did you name them? I did name them at a point, but I can't remember. I lost the document. How many do I have? Oh my god. So I'm just gonna list off. What I see right now. I've got a ukulele from Hawaii. I got a tiny Cappy. I know. So I got a ukulele from Hawaii, a very tiny violin, an Ovation slimback acoustic, a Taylor nylon string, what the fuck is this one again? Oh my god. Washburn, that's what it is. Okay, so ukulele, tiny violin, Ovation, Taylor, Washburn. I got a banjo. I got a dulcimer guitar. I've got I think it's a Rockville P bass I got for like $40. A Warwick Corvette 5-string, a Warwick double buck in red, a Warwick Fortress, Warwick Star bass I want to say it's called, Warwick Thumb, another 5-string Corvette, another double buck in black, an Ibanez that I rebuilt and remade, a Rogue 5-string, my original War Corvette, a Legator 9-string, I forget the brand name, and I don't feel like I'm up, an 8-string Telly, a Squier Bass 6, oh god, what's the fucking thing called? Another Telly with a humbucker in the bridge, not a Fender, I can't remember the name of the brand. A broken Epiphone, because I worked at a guitar store for a while, and I just kept one, or they let me keep one because they were going to throw it away because the neck is split. A Legator 6-string, 2 of the same baritone Tellys because the company accidentally sent me 2, and they were just like, oh well, I guess you could just keep it, I guess. 2 Chapman Tellys, another type of Telly that I forget the name of, and then a Squier Telly. So that's like 30, I guess. I've also got a Yamaha P45 keyboard, sorry, just gotta move the mic, a Korg Mini Log, it's another like some really small MIDI keyboard that's only like 25 keys, which I think that makes like what, 33. I've also got a handful of like harmonicas and thumb pianos. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I have what a lot of musicians call gear acquisition syndrome. So I just kind of collect this shit. Yeah. Number 5, do you have any tattoos or piercings? No piercings. I don't think I would really fit them, but I do have some tattoos. And thank you, Ash. Love you. Hugs for you and Gabby. Have a great day and night. Thank you. Oh my god, sorry. MLA Olivia 2008 asks, yes, thank you. I love you. Love you too. Okay, question 1. How many pets do you have? I have Gabby. I've got a bunch of shrimp. I haven't counted exactly how many babies there are. I've counted like 10 in one spot, but I feel like there might be more. Plus a bunch of snails. Um, yeah, and I guess my aunts as well, but I don't know. There's no way I can count them. There's probably like, at least nowadays, probably closer to 20. Um, yeah, I'd like to eventually in the future. I'd love to get a either a desert hairy or a bark scorpion. Would be really cool. And I've also been looking into possibly getting a ball python in the future, which would be really fun. um, Question two: what advice would you give to someone dealing with depression? Um, it's really tough. I personally really struggle with depression, so I get it. Um, I guess really just take it day by day. Um, Gabby, stop clawing the carpet. That was me clapping, by the way. Not me abusing my cat. She's across the room clawing at my carpet. Yeah, it's tough. Just try not to beat yourself up too much. Taking it day by day. Um, I'd really say just put your trust in other people. With depression, it's difficult because you are the most important person in your life. Just period dot. But with depression, you learn to go against that, and that voice in your head does not like you. And so putting your trust into other people, trusted friends or family, uh, I find that a lot of people love others more than they love themselves. Um, and so if you surround yourself with people that'll love you the way that you should be loving yourself, then that often helps. And it's nice to have good company too. Question three: did you ever go to college? Nope. I am not. I am not a studious person. School is never really my thing, and I don't know. I just going out of high school, I had just seen so many horror stories of like, oh yeah, I went to college right after high school, and now I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and now I'm in crippling debt because of school loans. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound fun, so I'm just not gonna go. Especially because I was thinking like, yeah, I'll just get a career in music, and 9 times out of 10 you don't need a fucking degree for that. And it's, yeah, no, I'm good. Question 4: do you think you'd ever want to have kids? I think so, yeah. I have a lot of paternal instincts, at least compared to a lot of the, my guy friends that I have. I'd really like to be a dad. To just wholeheartedly care for and love my kids. That'd be nice. The only thing is, that would obviously require a partner, and intimacy scares me. not intimacy in the not safe for work sense, but like, trusting someone enough to be open with that is I am a deeply hurt individual. Yes. To answer your question 5: have you ever experienced a bad friendship breakup? Totally, yeah. I won't give too. Gabby, you're gonna give me an aneurysm, please. Yeah, I mean, people grow apart. things happen. People turn into different people than when you first meet them, and sometimes they don't respect you in the ways that you should be respected, and it's okay to let go. Yeah. I know these are so random. I'm so sorry. You're all good. These are good questions. Philocali Advocate says, "Hey, you lovely soul. I'm excited to hear your voice again, no matter what you talk about. Thank you." First question is, what's the most annoying question you ever got? Oh, man, the most annoying question? I wouldn't say there's anything like on this channel, at least, that I would consider annoying questions. I don't know, maybe some questions about, like, I mean, I don't mind it on the channel because the channel is very much about my voice, as well as, you know, the fact that I remain anonymous, so like age and stuff isn't always a question, but like at least growing up, age and my voice was always kind of a topic of conversation for people that just met me. For reference, I'm sorry if this is TMI. I hit puberty when I was like, I think I was like 11 or 12-ish, and my voice like fully dropped to where it is now, around like 13 maybe, and it kind of kept going. And so being that young and having a voice deeper than most of your adult teachers was always really weird and like awkward and uncomfortable, and it always drew a lot of attention that I didn't want. Gabby, please. You're killing me, baby. She hopped off my lap a while ago, by the way. Yeah. So maybe stuff about my voice. Again, like I said, I don't care about it on the channel because it's an ASMR channel. It's about my voice mostly. As well as like my age being a mystery. I often get misinterpreted for being much older than I actually am, which is fine. I kind of don't care anymore. So it's kind of hard for me to say if there's any annoying questions, but at least back in the day when I was mostly insecure about it, I would say that. What would you do when you see an unknown person crying alone in public? Check in on them. I mean, it's happened very few times, but the times that it has happened, you know, I've just kind of gone up and, you know, been very gentle, just asking if they're okay, if they need help or anything like that. More often than not, it's just a very personal issue that's going on, and you know, most of the time they'll just kind of try to shape up and go on about their day. But the few times that I have asked, you know, they'll just kind of tell me the situation that they're in, and you know, just kind of being there and just listening. Yeah, it's difficult when it's with strangers, because you don't know them, you don't know any backstory, you don't know, you know, how to comfort them. So just kind of being there, you know, that's as much as you can do, really. Is there a topic you're oversharing all the time with other people? No. I'm a pretty reserved person when it comes to myself, so I don't overshare a lot. And when I do overshare, it's with someone that basically already knows everything about me. Which kind of hugs or cuddles do you prefer? it's hard for me to say. I am actually very haphophobic, which is the phobia of being touched and grabbed. Gabby, stop clawing at the fucking carpet. It is the phobia of being touched and grabbed. So if there's like certain spots that are worse than others, mostly things that restrict my own movement, like my wrists. Also certain places like my back is a very sensitive zone. It's the best way I could describe it is like an anxiety fueled fight or flight response, fight, flight, or freeze response. There's been times where it's really acted up in public. Whoa, I clipped the shit out of the mic there, sorry. There's been times where it's really acted up. When I was going to school, it was basically just one super long hallway. And so like I would be constantly bumping shoulder to shoulder with people, which wasn't terrible. But there was this one guy that was there that at the time he was a friend. Now looking back, he was kind of an asshole. He kind of got the idea that I didn't like being touched. And so he would come up from behind and hug me, which is not a good thing to do. In most cases, it would be like a flight, like I would jump back or something and I'd be like, hey, fuck you. Sometimes I would freeze and I would just be very anxious for a long time. There was one time he did jump me from the back and I fucking like got out of his grip and I punched him in the fucking face and I just like broke. I don't think it broke his nose, but he was very bloody and he had to go to the office and go home. So that I do my best to be very in control of, you know, how it is. I am always very self-aware when in public, when it comes to like who is around me and, you know, how close people are. So yeah, sorry, side tangent. So yeah, I'm not really sure. Could you give one advice about mental health to your community? Just one. Do three things. Drink some water, have a little bit of food, and sleep. If you're ever in a really bad space, doing any combination of those things often helps. So yes, I'm sure you're doing your best right now, but to rest is valuable as well. Finger hug and hear you soon. Take care. Thank you. Cora asks, have you ever thought about running a contest for your listeners to see who could come up with the best idea for a video, and the prize would be, say, getting their name used in the script or getting to be the first one to listen to it? They also ask, if you could travel to a different time period, which would you choose? Ooh, that's a cool idea. I haven't thought about it before, but you know, I might do something like that in the future. That'd be cool. Gabby, please. What do you want from me? You're just meowing at the ceiling. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe once I get the Discord server and everything set up, have that a little bit more. Have that be a little bit more of a community thing. I think that'd be fun. And if I could travel to any time period, which would it be? In all honesty, there's no point in human history, I think, that I would want to go back to, because human history is a violent, terrible time. So I think the inner nerd in me would want to go back to the late Cretaceous period, I'd say. Just see some dinosaurs. That'd be fucking sick. Who? I don't know. Jasia or Jasia? 2733 has worst date you've been on. You know what? For the sake of anonymity, not animosity, anonymousness, I'm gonna go ahead and keep that to myself. I apologize. Vicious0301 asks, "Hi, how are things? Were you able to somewhat settle in after the move? Everything decorated nicely with your guitars and basses? Is Gabby doing alright, getting used to the new environment, I hope?" Loads and loads of questions, just hoping for a general update. How have you been since your last Q&A? Big hug, love you too. Aw, love you too. Things are okay. Just taking it day by day. Still trying to settle in, trying to find my place. It's been a little bit of a struggle. I have gotten all my guitars out. I got them all nicely organized up on the wall here, which is really cool. Gabby's being very mouthy. Isn't that right, Gabby? I know. This is the most y'all have ever heard, I'm pretty sure. But she's definitely gotten used to the environment. She's an indoor cat, and so she's very, very used to it. Thank you for the question. M Forever asks, if you had to be one of your favorite fictional characters, who would you be? And I hope you're doing well. We miss you. I miss you guys too. Favorite fictional character. Man, it's embarrassing how much I don't read. I'm not sure. Most of the fiction that I watch and stuff like that is usually stuff that I would not want to be in. Like grimdark type stuff. So yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah. As of next, please. Jasmine Space 010 asks, "Hello, I just have one question. What do you consider success? Not success as in the service definition, but what does success look like to you personally? Whether you simply feel success is peaceful, or you feel it with abundance, or you feel it with nothing at all. Success can be anything. It doesn't have to be a job or a person. It can be finally being able to appreciate a leaf on a tree, or the scales on a fish as they glimmer while it swims. Putting that aside, I hope you have been able to get some rest, and I wish that peace finds you and the sun doesn't burn but nourish. And please make sure to have some water. Good night, afternoon, or morning. Thank you." I would say, to me, success is being content. Being in a place where you can find your peace. Where when things get tough, you'll be able to recover. And where you can thrive. Every day is a bit of a struggle for many people. And so just having a place where you can, loosen your shoulders, where you can just lean back and just be at peace. I would say that would be success, at least to me. Thank you for the question. On to the last post. Just making sure everything is updated. There we go. Megan Frank 183 asks, which one of your ASMR videos did you enjoy making? What inspired you to do ASMR? One of my videos, I mean, I enjoy making most of them. You know, I had a lot of fun with the Incubus Halloween video. That was, you know, a lot. One of the ones that I kind of always go back to is the angel and the devil on your shoulders are fighting again. Probably because that was a lot more just comedic than anything. I just had a lot of laughs doing it and had a good time generally. But yeah. And what inspired you to do ASMR? I went over it a little bit more in the last Q&A. But to kind of summarize, what inspired me to do ASMR was honoring an old friend who is no longer with us, unfortunately. I would kind of unintentionally do ASMR for them because they had a very, very terrible fear of the dark, and trying to sleep at night was very difficult for them. So this was kind of my way of coping with the loss and, you know, finding peace and honoring them. Thank you for the question. An Angel says, yay, can't wait. I hope you enjoy, An Angel. Escape from Reality account, that's a fucking mood, asks, what's your biggest red flag in a person? Ooh, I would say man, there's so many red flags in people. My biggest is, I guess one of the biggest is when they can't take accountability for their actions. Someone who always like has an excuse for, you know, a fuck up, or they blame other people, or they try to, you know, change the subject or whatever. That's big fucking red flag. Yeah, that I'd say that's probably the most common one that I see. If you could give any advice, what would it be? I would say stay hydrated, take a nap, and love an animal. Because a pet, like a cat or a dog or anything you like, loves you unconditionally. What made you decide that you wanted to do boyfriend ASMR? It kind of ties in with the, you know, original reason for ASMR I went over earlier, but specifically like the boyfriend ASMR type stuff is, I mean, quite frankly, like the plain answer is it's fairly popular. People seem to enjoy it. I'm not really the type that listens to ASMR personally. Like I don't get tingles or anything like that that people say they do. But you know, I think it also comes from a place of being able to feel like you could trust someone, being able to trust and to relax. Sending love from Jamaica. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for the question. Brianna Coolia 604 asks, I don't comment often, but here we go. What's your favorite animal? If you had to choose 3 superpowers, what would they be? Favorite color and why? Ooh. Favorite animal. I know, Gabby. You know what? Gabby's my favorite animal, specifically her. She's my sweet baby. She's my little shadow that always follows me around and nags me. I love her. If you had to choose 3 superpowers, what would they be? Teleportation. Because I hate traffic and long travel. What other superpowers are common? I wouldn't want to fly because I'm kind of scared of heights. Definitely teleportation, maybe like duplication. As in, like, I could duplicate objects so I can make a bunch of money and have the IRS come after me. And I could just be like, I don't know, just fucking inherited it. I don't know what I do. And then number 3. To be able to sleep at will would be really nice. I like that. And favorite color and why? Favorite color, absolutely purple. The same purple that I use for my logo. As of why, I don't know. It's got a cool, soothing kind of vibe to it that is similar in line to like how people describe blue, I guess, but it feels more relaxed, I guess, to me at least. I also just think it's a beautiful color. I love it. Thank you for the question. Dubikaz says, yeah, I'm excited, and now I have something fun to look forward to in my hella schedule for my next week. Hell yeah. VN Cooper says, yippee. Thank you. Signal Citrobal asks, favorite song currently? Oh, man. Maybe Damocles. Maybe that's probably the safe answer. I've listened to Emergence a lot, but Damocles is a little bit newer. Either that or Look to Windward is also really good. Do you wear glasses? I don't. I used to when I was a kid because my parents thought that I couldn't see the whiteboard at school too well, when in reality I just had a really difficult time focusing. So my eyesight's mostly fine. Like, I probably could use contacts, but my eyesight isn't nearly as bad to the point where it's like I can't see and it impairs me or anything like that. Favorite food? Yes, all of it. I like a lot of food. I like a lot of like ramen, pizza, sushi, things like that. Yeah. What's a life lesson you've learned? Man. I hate being a broken record, so I try to think of new things to say. What's a life lesson you've learned? I mean, I suppose I'll just say what I've said before. I apologize as I can't think of anything on the spot. But, you know, don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. Again, people are, especially with like social media or, you know, the news or anything like that, people are very, very, very quick to give their negative opinions on subjects, whether they're educated on it or not. And so, you know, if you hear all this negativity, it's easy to get caught up in it. But just think, if I wouldn't want to take advice from them, who cares what they criticize? You know, same lines. I forget what comedian said. Was joking about it, saying like, "Oh, I don't care that you're booing me. I've seen what you cheer for." Something like that. I don't know. What's your biggest pet peeve? Biggest pet peeve, man. I guess like people who chew obnoxiously loud and openly. I had a job where I had to fucking take my lunch break next to the same like group of people, and there was this one fucking dude. Hi, Gabby. I don't know what I can do to help you, baby. There's this one dude. Thank God, I just wanted to fucking strangle every goddamn day. Because he would fucking bring like a 3-course meal to the fucking lunch, and for the entire hour of lunch, and was like he was like fucking borderline moaning during it. And I was just like, yeah, no, it was bad time. Thank you for your videos. They've helped me and so many others fall asleep. Thank you. I'm really happy to hear. Vicious0301 says, yay, new video. I know I already asked some other stuff under the other post, but this just popped in my head, or just popped up in my mind. I don't know. What's your favorite kind of body modification? Piercings, tattoos, scarifications, silicone implants, etc. And do you have any? I hope this question is okay to ask. If not, feel free to ask, or feel free to skip. Yeah, no problem. I do have tattoos. Building up a sleeve. Gabby. I've considered doing scarification on my other sleeve. There was, I forgot the reference image that I got it from, but I saw someone do scarification, essentially like honeycomb type like hexagons in a pattern that just like went down at the shoulder onto like part of the bicep, and I thought it was really cool. My only worry is my body scarring can be a little weird, because it doesn't often raise, it just kind of like darkens, I guess, and so I feel like it would be a little weird. As of my favorite kind, I don't know, I think a lot of it's really cool. I don't have any piercings or silicone implants or anything like that. For piercings, I honestly just don't think I've got like the vibe that can really fit it. And I can't think of any silicone implants that I'd want to get. You know, maybe if I wanted like a really nice ass, I would get one. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have a favorite. I think whatever helps a person, whatever makes a person feel more confident in themselves. I see a lot of people say like their piercings and their tattoos and everything makes them feel like themselves, and so I think whatever makes them feel themselves, fucking go for it. Thank you for the question. Jennifer Dara asks, Eek, Thursday cannot come fast enough. Are you rocking any facial hair, or are you more of a clean-shaven type of person? Ooh, is this the part of the mystery that I want to reveal? What was that? Okay. Yeah, I can share it. I do have facial hair, yes. I have a full beard and mustache. Like I mentioned earlier, I hit puberty at a very fucking early age. And so I think my beard fully developed and like came in around like 15. And I don't mean like, I don't even mean like the pube stash. I mean, like, full on fucking facial hair. I shaved it during my like early years just because I didn't want to draw attention, but I've stuck with it, and I enjoy it how it is. Yeah. Hope that doesn't break the immersion too much. Thank you for the question. Black Raisin Detre 01, I want to say. Raisin, maybe? If you were a dessert, what would you be? I think you'd be a cutie pie. Oh, are you trying to make me blush? Oh! If I were a dessert, what would I be? As much as I would love to be a cutie pie, I think I would be like a really big muffin is the vibe. I don't know if muffins really count as desserts, but yes. What's your favorite genre of movie? Probably horror movies. I'm a really big horror movie fan. Have you ever experienced any horror or spiritual things? Share those with us, please. All right. I mentioned I would probably talk about it on stream, but I can talk about it here. Yeah. There's two things that immediately come to mind. I've had many more, but two of the biggest ones. So for one, some of you might be, at least like horror buffs and everything like that, might be familiar with it. Zach Bagans, the main dude in Ghost Adventures, has a museum in Vegas, and it's full of cursed items and cursed objects and like spooky shit. I went there with my family. I went there with both my parents. Gabby, this is not the time. That place is fucking weird. It is a vibe there. There were two things in particular there. The first, we're going through, and it's literally like wall to wall full of different shit. And they name a couple of the biggest things there, but there was one particular not named item. Come here. There's one particular not named item there. It was a big, like, black witch doctor's mask. And I don't know what it was. Something compelled me. It was a weird fucking feeling. I ended up very delicately touching the mask, which you're not supposed to do. Don't do what I did. Not a good time. For probably close to a year after that, I had a recurring nightmare, which, like I said before, I don't deep sleep very often, so I don't dream very often. It's very rare for me to dream, and when I do, I always make notes and write it down. So reoccurring dreams has been something that's almost never happened in my life. And yeah, I would have the same reoccurring dream where I was in like a plain space, like dirt ground, no grass, and there was a very thick fog that would surround me. I could see maybe like 15 feet out, except for one direction where it was like almost kind of like a hall sequence where it's like you could see down the end, where it was just a clearing in the fog. And I saw this probably like 8-9 foot tall hooded figure in that witch doctor's mask. It had places where the arms and the legs would be, but I didn't see any appendages. It was just kind of like free floating there. and I would be stuck. I would just watch it, and it would slowly approach. And I don't mean like it would walk. It just, almost like it was levitating, just get closer and closer and closer until it was right above me, essentially. And I would just look into the eye holes of the mask, and I would see nothing. It was just black. And I would wake up in a cold fucking sweat, hyperventilating, anxious. It was not a good time. As well, in that museum, some of you guys might have heard the story of the Dybbuk's box. Well, they actually had it there. And up to this point, I never heard what it was. I didn't see any of the movies. I think they made movies on it. I hadn't heard any of the stories. I had no idea what this fucking thing was. Well, the way that they have it set up is it's in its own room, and it's optional. You kind of stay out in like a dining room kind of area before you enter in, and the tour guide says some things about it, says how people can be affected by it, and that there's actually a detour hall around this room that you can go through, so you don't have to go through the room to progress through the tour, and that it was completely voluntary. She was talking about it. I don't really remember what she was saying, but I remember before going in, I almost passed out. I got extremely lightheaded. I was nauseous. I had to hold on to one of the chairs to like keep myself propped up. And in the group of like 20-ish people, only me, my dad, and 2 other people went in. Everybody else avoided it. And I don't know what it was, but when she was done talking and she asked, all right, does anyone want to take a look? I was immediately like, I have to go in there. And it was really weird. I don't know why. I went in there, and it was one of the weirdest experiences in my life. Like, say right now, I can close my eyes, and I can know that can I help you? You're killing the vibe here. Come here. I could sit right here, and I can close my eyes, and I can know, okay, I'm in my room. I'm in my house. I know what the street looks like. I know how to get to the other rooms. And I'm sure you could probably do the same thing. Even if you're at work or something, you could be like, okay, I know where the break room is. I know where the bathroom is. I know where blah, blah, blah. This room, I completely lost that. You entered in, and it was a somewhat small room. Inside was a pedestal with the Dybbuk's box in it, or on it. There was a glass box covering it entirely, and there was a bunch of like sand, and there was a bunch of like crosses surrounding it as like a barrier. This place felt like it was in its own space and time, if that makes sense. That sense of familiarity as to where you are, I completely lost that when we entered that room. And it was the strangest sensation. And I kept having the same intrusive thoughts, just kind of walking around and looking at the box. And it was so weird. I kept thinking, break the glass, like punch it, break the glass, bleed on the box, break the glass, bleed on the box. And that thought just kept going through my head, and it's super fucking weird. And probably the weirdest thing is at the end, I was so confused because I don't remember leaving the room. The next thing I remembered after that was being outside in the hallway as the tour was continuing, and my dad had grabbed me by the wrist and he was like pissed off. Well, I didn't really think of it much after until I asked afterwards. And he said, like, the tour guide was saying, all right, time to go, time to move on. And I wasn't moving. I wasn't leaving the room. Like, I wasn't paying attention to them. And my dad had to physically grab my wrist and pull me out of the room. I have zero recollection of that. Like, wholeheartedly. Yeah, so that place, if you go into that museum, bring protection, bring wall yourself. It's fucked up. The only other story that I would share as of right now, is to not take up too much time, is it was again on a vacation with my parents. We went to the coast, and this I'll try not to dox myself. But yeah, I'll not say like names of places, but this particular beach type area, it was very, very. Can I help you? There you go. Have some butt pads. This particular area was very infamous for the amount of shipwrecks that there were. Very, very dangerous waters, and a lot of bad juju, a lot of drownings at this beach. And we were staying at a motel that was basically off of the beach, which when I first entered in, there was like some weird vibes. I tried not to think about too much. But it was into the second night that it happened that it really fucked with me. For reference, I basically, like, you walked in the front door, and there was immediately a hallway going forward, and then a staircase immediately to the right that goes upstairs. Upstairs was like the small living area, and then attached to that was the main bedroom. But when you first entered in, if you go down that hallway and then to the left, there was a small bedroom, and that's where I stayed. Gabby, I had everything that happened written down on my notes account that I had on my previous Discord that I mentioned that got fucking deleted, so I would read it word for word from the moment that shit happened. But I'll do my best, just remembering, because I've also recited it a few times. I laid down, went to bed. I'm the type that has to have some kind of noise. Like, I usually sleep with a bunch of fans on just for the ambient noise. They didn't have any, but they did have a TV, so I just slept with the TV on. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was just wide awake, classic insomnia. And I was like, okay, I'm up now, whatever. I look at the time. I don't remember the exact time off the top of my head, but for reference, we'll say it's 3:23, because the numbers are what matter. It was 3:23. I wake up. I'm like, huh. The TV is frozen. And I'm like, well, whatever. I turn the TV off, and I'm on my phone for a little bit. I'm scrolling. I'm like, okay, I should try to get some sleep. We're getting up early tomorrow, whatever. I set my phone down, and it was 3:25. And I just closed my eyes, and I lay down on my side. Behind me, behind me, I hear whispering is a little boy's voice. And he went, Hello? Is anyone there? Help me. I'm here every night. 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. That's all he said. As soon as I heard the voice, I immediately froze up, and it was probably one of the scariest moments of my life. That was like a paranormal experience, because I immediately recognized, please go away, please go away, please go away, please stop. I don't want this. I don't want this to be happening. I don't want to hear this. And that entire time, I was just thinking to myself, trying to muster up the courage and the strength to move, because I was just frozen. So I was like, come on, get up, do something. No, I don't want to hear this. And so by the time that they were counting, they said 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. By the time they said 4 o'clock, I swung a fucking haymaker in that direction. Which I'm not proud of in hindsight. I was very afraid. It was just my act of oh my god, this is the most terrifying moment of my life. I checked my phone. What time did I say? 3:25, I think, whatever. I look at my phone. It was 3:26. 1 minute had passed. Now, again, I'm an insomniac. I already struggle with sleep as it is. It is, I don't want to say impossible, but it is incredibly unlikely that I would be able to fall asleep and have a completely auditory dream within a minute span after I woke up and I was wide awake. I was wide awake on my phone. I don't have sleep paralysis. I've never had sleep paralysis in my life. And even then, I couldn't open my eyes until I fucking swung, because I was just afraid. It was, I couldn't sleep for the rest of that night. It took me an hour to gain the courage to get up out of bed to turn the lights on. It was awful. In hindsight, I'm really sad that I reacted the way that I did. It was out of a place of animalistic fear that I responded with violence. But yeah, it was terrifying. Thank you for the question. Sorry about the ramble. Next question. Winifred Stormborn. Oh, that's a dope ass name. Your channel kind of opened up the gateway for me to use content like yours as a coping mechanism for my anxiety. Thank you, by the way. Oh, thank you. So my question is, what inspired you to make this type of content? I think I've kind of told the story a couple times now, both earlier as well as in the previous Q&A. But yeah, as a way for myself to cope, as well as honoring my friend. Thank you for the question. Midkale5279 asks, favorite song to play? Man, it has been a long time since I sat down and learned a song. I'd say just my go-to, honestly, is Happy by Mudvayne. I play that song on the bass, and it is so fun. If you've never heard it, look up some bass covers of that song. There's thousands. It's really fucking cool, and it's what originally inspired me to really double down and learn how to play the instrument. Thank you for the question. MLA Olivia asks, okay, wait, I have another question. Who's your favorite song artist or band? It's kind of constantly changing, honestly. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Sleep Token recently. Some old favorites are, stuff I grew up with: Linkin Park, Breaking Benjamin, Disturbed, Mudvayne are definitely some of the biggest ones. Yeah, I've also been listening to a lot of Bad Omens, too. Some older ones as well. Hungry Lights was sick as fuck. Haven't listened to them in a little while though. Hasn't released in a few years, but yeah, I'd say those would be some of my biggest go-tos. Thank you for the question. Hizuki Galaxy asks, why did you start creating this type of content or did you originally start making other content before shifting to the audios you currently produce? It kind of goes in line with the other question about what started it was, honoring my friend and everything. I did used to have a gaming channel when I was a kid. I admit, I did have a gaming channel that grew like a couple thousand subscribers. It was really bad. It was all really fucking bad. But what's funny is that the monetization from that channel is what actually allowed me to buy my first base, which was really cool. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say that was the only other content that I did. But no, when I started this channel, it was for the sole reason of making ASMR, and now it's kind of grown to do some other stuff as I'm planning on taking up streaming at some point. Thank you for the question. And then it appears, last question here, Kikatar asks, spice level tolerance. It's weird. See, obviously, or maybe not obviously, what some people might not know is your taste is also very influenced by your sense of smell. And I actually really don't have a sense of smell. I can smell very, very few things. Pretty semi-consistently, I can smell things burning. It's like campfires and stuff I can smell. And besides that, it has to be incredibly strong for me to be able to smell. And I mean, I've driven over like dead skunk and I haven't smelled it kind of strong. So I definitely think that's influenced my taste. Whenever I cook, I have to be very mindful of how much I season things if I'm cooking for other people, because I tend to over season the shit out of my food because it's to compensate for the fact that I really can't taste as strongly, I guess. So spice level, I'm kind of in a weird place where I can handle really spicy food, but in most cases I don't like the taste of most spicy food. So I tend to get the more mild stuff. But yeah, I've done like wing challenges with friends and family and stuff like that, and I've gone, pretty fucking high. So I'd say I have a pretty decent spice tolerance. I just typically don't like spicy food though. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll go and refresh just in case anyone else has asked. I believe that is the last of the recordings. Alrighty. Sweet. Well, thank you all for listening. I really appreciate you. If you're waking up after a nap or something listening to this, I appreciate you being able to sleep. Or if you're able to rest this audio, I kind of lost my voice halfway through, I'll be honest. But yeah, again, thank you everybody for participating and asking your questions. You know, I really, really, really enjoy being able to communicate with you all and being able to interact with the community in the way that I do. It really means a lot to me. Yeah, I love you guys. I'm going to be doing my best to get back into the swing of things. Gonna be really doing my best to try to get audios back out. I'm probably gonna upload this the same day that I record it, in all honesty. I don't think I'll be able to upload like an actual ASMR video this Thursday, just because I'm gonna be starting work soon, and unfortunately Thursdays are like the biggest fucking shifts of my life that I'm gonna end up working on. So I'll have to start recording in advance, or just changing up the date. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I know I haven't really been super active outside of the community chat. So, you know, it really, really means a lot to me that you guys have stuck around during this time that I've been gone. It really means the world to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really love you guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you guys. Before I get too sappy, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and or night. I hope you have fun. I hope you have a great day and or night. I hope you get to rest well, sleep well. Make sure to pay attention to your animals. Make sure to stay hydrated and eat food when you're hungry. And to take care of yourselves. It is a very, very chaotic world. And so, let's just take a little time to love each other. I love you guys. I hope you have a good time. Okay. I'm done. Okay. Bye. Bye.